Hello and welcome to Inside Franklin and Marshall Wrestling. Jack Heffer here alongside Mike Rogers and Anthony Mancini. Guys, great win against Virginia Military Institute this past Friday night. It was close a little bit in the beginning, but then Anthony Mancini with a big pin and a decisive one to really secure that win. But first, Coach Rogers, I want to talk a little bit about the weight classes from 125 to 141 with Patty Quinlan, Martasio, and also Jason Bing. In those three matches, you saw two pins and a major decision by Bing. And the one that I thought was really the game changer was Patty Quinlan in that second period. Could you talk a little bit about those three matches and how they were integral to that team win?
Yeah, we knew they were probably heavily favored in three of those weight classes, 25 being one of them, 97, and possibly heavyweight. That could actually, heavyweight-wise, he beat us 2 weeks ago at Keystone. But going into 25, actually, Edgar, we rested him last week, and his ribs were a little bit dinged up going into that match. So just the fact that he was able to go out there and compete for us was a big testament to just his heart and desire, to compete when you're not 100%. But yeah. Danny Martaccia did a great job of kind of setting the tone for the other three weight classes and just kind of going out there and, getting out right. I think he got to take down the first 5 to 10 seconds, and then from there he just jumped on top of him with the reinforced armbar and took him over and got the fall. That's an unusual position to get a fall. Usually it's a turn or back points, but you don't get too many pins out of those positions. So, he was looking for any opportunity to kind of set the tone, and he's been wrestling good, the last couple weekends. So it was nice to see him kind of finish off kind of our first part of the season with a nice win and doing it in such a dominant fashion, which kind of set the tone with Patty going out there. Patty, and the thing with Patty, he can put anyone to his back. He always looks for the big moves, sometimes too much. If you notice the first takedown he gave up, he was trying to throw the kid to his back right off the takedown. But we didn't panic at all. We knew Patty was, he could come back and score big points late. And we had that kid scouted. He likes double underhooks, and he kind of played it in the right where Patty likes to go. And then, the second time we put him on his back, he didn't force it. He kind of let it happen. And again, once we got the guys on our back, we did a good job of sealing the deal and getting the fall.
Yeah, and it seemed in that Quinlan matchup, you mentioned that first period takedown, and then the second gets hip to hip, and you mentioned the double underhooks. Well, he just kind of leans back with him, takes him there, and he quickly recovers and leans over, and I think he finished it with a Nelson. But the crowd kind of erupted at that point. You saw when everybody turns his back. That kind of, to me, was a very pivotal moment, an even match, and then Quinlan just with a huge result. But another pivotal match in the man sitting to your right, Anthony Mancini, with another pin at a pivotal point in the match. You guys were up 21-13 with three weight classes left, and Anthony Mancini goes out there. First period, pretty even match, but you can see Mancini starting to dominate, and then in that second period, just finishes it off with a big pin, and that kind of sealed the deal for the win.
Yep. Yeah. Even leading up to that, even Jason Bing going out there getting a major, and he's not 100% either. And when there was a break in the match, and we kind of yelled out to him, we said we need the major, and he went after. He could have sat on a win, just kind of coasted through the match, and he went out there and got one more takedown to get the major for us. And then going up even to 74, that was a good match. That kid at 74 was really tough, and we kind of had a couple of situations to play out with Josh and Gordon Bowling, and we weren't sure which one we were going to go with. But we went with Josh, which kind of set the stage for Mancini to kind of go out there, and he does a great job. If you ever watch him wrestle, he's a grinder. He's kind of opposite of Rick Durso. Last year was more flash and a lot of points scoring early. Mancini's more of a grinder, pulling your head, wear you down. There's matches this year he was down 5-6 points and comes back. So again, we weren't worried that it was tied up and it was close. We could tell the kid was starting to fade a little bit. And same thing, he got on top and he just looked for some opportunity. And again, the cradle was opened up for him and he hit it. And then again, sealing the deal on the cradle and getting the fall allowed us to kind of relax a little bit and just wrestle for pride for the last 2 weight classes. 97 didn't work out for us, but even heavyweight, with even though we had the match won, Corey went out there and did a great job of going for the win and wrestling to win, and not just trying to not get pinned or try to make it look close. He wanted to win that match, and that kid beat him 2 weeks ago at the Keystone. So that was a nice kind of. I like seeing those matches. Either the ones that we lose, we cut it down, or if it's a close match, we end up getting the win. I think what we did as a team, that we've really been focused on our top wrestling. We've really spent this season, and the last couple of seasons, kind of been our weakness. Getting off the bottom, not getting the points on top, not getting the falls when we needed to. And last night was a great example of the hard work the guys have been putting in the room of the top wrestling, the mat wrestling, which is where you score the most points.
We talk about a top wrestler on your team. We got one to your right. Anthony, could you talk a little bit about that match, kind of your mindset going into that, and then towards the end, a chance to wrestle at the Midlands Classic coming up, and just how excited you are for that opportunity?
Right. I mean, going into that match, I was aware of the team score. I knew if I could get bonus points, that seals the duel for us. And as much as I trust the guys above me and I know they can come out and win, I wanted it there. Like, I wanted to seal the duel there. So in the first period, I didn't get to my offense as much as I really wanted to. He was kind of backing up. He was starting to fade. He was getting a little frustrated. So I knew the longer we were going, the better I was going to feel. And then in the second, on top, he kept stepping that leg up to his head. I missed the first cradle, but when he stepped up again, it was that cradle ride that Roger's gone over tons of times. It was something he was great with. He's kind of passed on to us. And then once it was there, I knew I had it. And getting that pin, it felt real good. I knew it sealed the win for us, and I would love to beat VMI.
Yeah, and you mentioned how good that felt. I mean, everybody should go check out the website picture for the article of you just screaming after the pin to seal that deal. It's a great shot. But then moving on to the Midlands Classic, I mean, how excited you are for this opportunity? Can you kind of explain to some of the fans what the Midlands is, and kind of give us context for just how impressive that tournament is, and how the level of wrestling that you will experience over there?
Yeah, I mean, this is my first time at Midlands. It's a huge tournament out in Chicago. One of that and the Scuffle are the two biggest ones before NCAAs. And there's a lot of the Midwest, Big 10, Big 12 teams that I haven't gotten to see yet. I've gotten to see a lot of our conference, the EWL, but a lot of East Coast teams. But now we can go out there to the Midwest, try to beat some of those guys, put it on them. And I really want to do well out there. I'm excited. I feel good going into it. I feel like I have some momentum. I think it could be a big tournament for me and all our other guys going out.
Last but not least, here at Franklin Marshall, entering finals time. It's a tough time for students, especially for student athletes who are competing while they're taking their exams and getting their final grades in. And obviously, athletes, they have a standard GPA that they have to meet. For you, with the Midlands coming up a little bit towards New Year's, and focusing on that, but also putting in perspective your grades and everything, how difficult is it to train and maintain your weight and continue the weight cutting process, but also be focused on those grades in these last 2 weeks coming up?
Well, our coaching staff does a great job. We take these 4 weeks off away from competition, so we're just training. And for me, I don't see practice as like a negative thing. I think it's a great time to relieve stress. Like, it's 2 hours where I'm not thinking about school or anything else. I can just go in, wrestle, get that workout in, work off that energy. So for me, I love this time of year. It's 4 weeks so I can really just focus on my training. There's still things I really need to work on and get better at. So these 4 weeks while we're not competing, I can just focus on those. I can get some more workouts in because I'm not worried about my weight. I can keep my food up a little bit and really just work out hard. And, because then we get the reading days too. So with that time, we have plenty of time to study and keep practicing, working hard. So it's just a balance. And I think it's just a good time of year to really refocus and get ready.
So looking forward to the schedule, we talked about the Midlands a little bit, that also the Dave Lehman F&M Open as well. Coach, could you talk a little bit about both those competitions? I know you're sending 3 other guys to the Midlands in Patty Quinlan, Anthony Paluzzi, and Robbie King, and then also talk a little bit about the F&M Open. Yeah.
Well, next thing coming up for us after these guys get through their finals, and we'll have like 4 weeks to kind of train and get ready for that, is the Midlands Open. competition, which is one of the premier tournaments in the country that our guys get to see a lot of the Midwest guys. And the guys that aren't going to that tournament are going to go to the Lock Haven Open. So everyone's going to be competing within that weekend, that time frame. So whether they're going out to Midlands or going to the Lock Haven Open, everyone will be competing that 28th, 29th, 30th time frame. After that, we have the Dave Laven F&M Open, which is a big tournament for us. We host right here. It's every year it gets a little bit bigger, a little bit more competition comes. It's been a great experience for us and for our guys to kind of have one of those big tournaments on our campus. We all have, I think we had 12 to 15 different colleges and universities represented, throughout the East Coast. So what we're looking to for the F&M Open, there's a lot of good sponsorship opportunities. We're trying to get all the mats sponsored. We have 2 to 3 sponsors right now, and then we want to get all the weight classes sponsored. Is our big push right now. So anyone that's listening that want to get involved and want to know how to help support the F&M program and get involved in the F&M Open, if you have a business or you just want to put your name out there, we have opportunities to sponsor mats. You can sponsor weight classes. We can get more information through our office or through the advancement office. But it's a great time. We're going to bring a lot of people in. There's going to be a lot of neat things going on around the tournament that we're going to be getting out in the next few weeks here. So we're excited about those 2 competitions. And then after that, we get into a lot of our dual meets. So we got 2 big tournaments coming up, and then we'll get into a lot of our dual meets after that.
The heart of the season coming up for Franklin and Marshall Wrestling as the year 2016 winds down. Thank you for joining us here on Inside F&M Wrestling, and we hope to see you soon and hopefully at these big events as well. So thanks for joining us.